Good afternoon, everyone. Today's session is going to be really helpful and is led by Dr. Sindhu from Apollo Cradle and Children's Hospital. She's going to talk about benefits of HPV vaccine. So stick around until the
కొంచెం
end
షిఫ్ట్ ఆಗುತ್ತೆ
and
అట్లా
ask us questions if you have any. Let's not keep you waiting any longer. Doctor, you have the
కూర్చుంటా
stage.
ఎస్ హలో good afternoon everyone. I'm Dr. Sindhu from Apollo Karapakam. Today's session is going to be very practical and a very useful one. It is regarding human papillomavirus vaccination. Yeah. So, the benefits of HPV vaccination. You should know what is HPV to know about the vaccination. HPV is nothing but human papilloma virus. It is a kind of virus which has some strains of high risk and low risk, and it can cause certain effects on the humans, up to maybe say cancers also. We need to be um, very much aware of how to prevent these cancers that arise because of the HPV infection. Okay, so what are these strains? There are a low risk type of strains and high risk type of strains. And this low risk type of strains, they cause only genital warts, which are not very problematic. But high risk types, they cause cancers of reproductive tract in women, say cervical cancer, vaginal cancer, vulval cancer, oropharyngeal cancers. So we need to be taking precautions how to prevent it. These viruses are transmitted in the body through sexual activity, and this sexual activity, which involves oral, anal, vaginal, you should be also knowing it is not transmitted through blood or body fluids, unlike the uh, hepatitis or other kind of viruses. So it is mainly between a skin to skin contact, and it is, you should also be aware it is not transferred through like toilet sharing in the public, or hugging or kissing, swimming in the pools, and sharing your utensils, and maybe when a person is unclean. So all these are not ways of transmission. It's only the earlier thing that I said, it's skin to skin kind of contacts, right? So, and these viruses, they can happen again and again, but they will produce only minor effects, and these effects are cleared by the body's own immune system most of the times. Only when the immune system falls down, or the type of strain is very aggressive, then you get some effects like cancers or the warts, right? So uh, there are vaccinations that are prepared against these viruses, which will give protection for us, especially women. And you can ask me a question like, which is the right time to get these vaccines for the ladies? So the right time is between 9 years and up to 45 years. So anytime through these years, you can get it vaccinated, but the ideal time would be 11 to 13 years, which is about 9 years. Why? Because the women, the lady, the girl should have this vaccination before she becomes sexually active. That is more important. And what if I take it by 25 years or something beyond 20 years? Yes, you can take it, nothing wrong, but the protection is little less compared to earlier years. And we, um, we should also go for follow of the particular organ, like I mean, I told you the cervical cancer screening, because though you take the vaccination, this vaccination gives you protection up to 70%. So the rest of the 30% may be other causes which can cause cervical cancers. So you should always be into the cancer follow. Okay, what doctor, if I take this vaccination, will there be any side effects? Yes, very minor side effects can be there, like say fevers or sometimes rashes at that site of injection, and you might have some giddiness or dizziness kind of. These are very very small and not a very big reaction, which can be manageable. Yes. How are these vaccine taken? Like, what are the dose schedule? Usually, if you're going to take it in your early years, like 30, 11, and 13 years in your teenagers, it's only two doses. One at the right away, the first shot, the zero dose, and second will be after 2 months, and that will give you a good protection. But if you're going to take it beyond 20 years or something, then usually a three-dose schedule will be effective. Like the start of the zero dose, then your second month dose, and a third one at a 6 months interval from your zero dose. So this will become effective. Um, so, how do I test this HPV? You had doctor. You have told about the vaccination and all that, but how do I test if I have HPV? This HPV is constantly cleared by the body. So maybe when you there are certain tests available, definitely. So when you test this, maybe the body might not show up that you're having HPV. Sometimes it might show up. So it may be variable. So usually the test that we use here is like how we take a pap smear. We take some smear from the cervix and we see the cells. And so this is one type of testing. Another type also is there, like in the blood you test, and with the blood test we can arrive at a more conclusive diagnosis, and we treat accordingly. um, so how do we um, is it transmissible to babies if if a pregnant mother is having, will be one more question. It is not very easily transmissible. I mean, it's very very rare that a mother can transmit it to the baby. But if at all there is a transmission, see, since it's a papilloma viruses, it produces papillomas, that is warts, okay, on the skin and sometimes in the mucosal surfaces. When I say mucosal surfaces, it is the lining of your inner organs. Say the lungs, the tracheal part, it might produce small papillomas around that passage. The chances are very least. You can also ask me a question: will it come again and again once if I get one time infected? Yes, it might recur. The recurrence of certain types goes away easily. As I said, the body clears off, and certain types stays there. Okay, little aggressive or virulent state stays there, and that produces cancers and all that. Okay, so how am I going to clear this prevention? How am I going to prevent this infection? Uh, First, whenever, as I told you, it is through sexual activity. So most of the time, please use condoms. That is the barrier methods. Always use protection, and avoid or limit your sexual partners. Okay, so multiple partners to be limited. That will help you prevent it. And vaccination, of course, like I told you, the way it is taken and the dose schedule. And also in vaccination, there are two types of vaccines available, wherein because these vaccines involve the strains, there are a vaccine which has only two strains. There are vaccines which have four strains, and the four strains are more effective. Um, so this is how you have the prevention. All right. So in these viruses are actually supposed to be cold viruses. They are very common in US, cold countries, and it seems like every year in US around 13 million people get affected with this strain, with the HPV viruses. So good load is found in Western countries, but still, we have to always put our women under screening programs, and testing to avoid getting these infections. And also adolescent people, the teenagers have to be targeted for the vaccination, which will definitely have a big role in their future years in the later life, preventing them from reproductive tract cancers, especially the cervical cancer. Thank you.